Hey, it's Chris, Liege of Games. So today, we're going to be talking about something brand spanking new. Not even out to retail yet, and you can pre-order it as well. But this thing right here in my hands from Board and Dice is Founders of Teotihuacan. This is, and you may recognize it, it looks very similar aesthetically to the original Teotihuacan, the heavier Euro mechanism-based game. But this is, as it says right here, a tile-laying game. Oh yeah, Liege is all over that. So, what do you need to know about this game? What are my thoughts on this game? Where are things at? Well, I'm going to give you some sample gameplay here. I'm going to give you a round of gameplay so you can see what it looks like. You can see a little bit of hands-on how the interactions go and what you need to do in terms of decision-making in this tile-laying game, which is still very Teotihuacan in terms of up here. Let me tell you right now. It's got a little bit more up there than your usual tile layer. So, if the combination of more Euro and tile layer makes you water at the mouth, stop it, Ignite. Let's talk, and let me show you. So, here is a sample setup of what the game is going to almost look like in a two-player game. I've left a few details undone so you can see them as they unfold. So, this is player 1's board, player 2 board. Orange is going to be first player, as indicated by this marker, and then green is going to be the second player. You have your action board up here that both players are going to be interacting on and placing their little action phase tokens on one of these various slots right here in the middle. And the middle slot here divides them in between the top portion, which is the building aspect, and the bottom portion, which is the offering aspect. And so when you place one of your markers on one of these pieces or spaces here, you get to take either the top or the bottom. Now, you'll notice that there are spots left open. This is a two-player game. These spots would be additionally filled by extra little bonus tokens here in the 3 and 4 player. As we're not playing with 3 or 4 here, they're left open and you are unable to place any of your action discs there. So, a few other aspects before we start briefly. So you can see already on my setup board here on this players, they're both identical right now because we are using the A side of the boards, not the B side. The B side is asymmetric. You'll notice that these are exactly the same otherwise right now. This is sort of your bingo free spot in the middle. You're going to be taking at the beginning of your turn, at the beginning of the game, one of each of the different color temples, and you are going to be able to place them on these locations around your blank free spot, if you will. And at the beginning of the game, when you cover these up, just like when you do in the regular game, when you cover them up, you are allowed to take the bonus of what they are. So you're getting to place down these additional pieces. Now, in the beginning, there's a slight variation because normally when you get these as a bonus, you're not taking them from there. That's a good thing to note too. But when you're placing them in the beginning of the game, you can cover up these masks around the outside. When you otherwise normally cover them later in the game, these specific ones gotten with the bonus only cannot be used to cover with the mask. Otherwise, if you obtain them from here in the build action, then you can cover them with the mask still. So what I'm going to be doing in terms of a little bit of a time lapse is I will place these over here. We'll get the various pieces down, and then I'll have the setup for you here in a minute. A few other things of note before we do this. In the two-player game, I have 6 action discs per person. In the 3 and 4 player game, you only play with 5. At the end of every round, you lose an action disc, meaning you have less actions to take for the next round. Then, just the board setup in general quick, you have the resources, and these are the buildings that produce resources. The offering down here either produces 1 resource on every building of that type, so type matters, or you can place down 2 of these little squares that are just 1 by 1s, and you can just place down any combination of 2 of them that you want on your area. I just have these out here for illustration purposes. Both of these are, if you place your action disc on this and there's no other action disc on here, you get to take the bonus, and the bonus in this case here is an extra influence. And that is nice because you can take the influence of here, here, or here. Now, what are these other influences? Well, let's just talk about them. This one means you can activate one of these tiles that you have already acquired, and you acquire them by doing the build action, paying the cost of the build up here, and then placing the tile down on one of your areas. Now, with both of these build actions, it becomes very important to note that you see my little meeple guy right here for the orange, and you'll notice that the meeple over here for green is over on this side, because that matters. Because on your turn, you can only build on essentially the half of the board that your meeple is nearest to. So right now, orange can only build on this half, and it has to be completely contained within that half. It can't be, for example, if I build this, it can't be halfway over. It needs to be completely on this imaginary half that's there. And at the end of your turn, your meeple is going to rotate. So now it's on this half. And so that changes as you go throughout the game and as you take your actions. And everybody starts the game off on a different side as well. So that's why green starts off over here. Now, again, I've got them on the scoring track for, making sure it all fits into the camera, but that's how it would normally go. So after you build one of these and pay, well, we'll talk about what else goes on in a second and what this third symbol is down here. But normally this orange one would cost you, this is 4 squares, 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1, 2, 3. Same thing with this, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Why that matters is you can only have 4 discs on a single space. And so as you are playing these, if there are ever 4, including the bonus disc, that disc is completely occupied and you can't place any more there. Doesn't matter whose they are. Doesn't matter if they're, one's orange, one's green, one's orange, one's green. It doesn't matter how or what order they go down. It just matters that all of a sudden there's 4 there, nothing can go there anymore. But only the first one that is played, the first time an action is played on that, does it get the bonus in the first place. So that's the other advantage of going there first. Although your stack then is going to be anywhere from 2 to 3 or even 4. And why does that matter? Well, that matters, and that's what you can obtain when you're building. So if you only have a stack of 2 here, you're only going to be getting the 2 or the 2. But if you have 3, 3, 3, 4, 4. Now here, you can pay on these ones for higher than what the stack is. So if I put down my green token here for a second, and I put it down, and that's only a stack of 2, well, I can pay an extra wood down here in this little gray spot that tells you what you're paying extra for each one that I am under the value of. So in this case, it would be 2 stone, and if I put it here and I wanted this one, this would cost me 2 stone and 2 additional wood. This would be a stone, a gold, and 2 additional stone here. But if I had a stack of 4 and I put it down there on the top here, then this would just cost me 1 stone and 1 gold. But then no one else could play there as well then. That's done. At the end of your build, after you've built on that piece, whatever you're going to place it on your map, on whatever section you can, then you get to take a corresponding tile. Now, I haven't done this yet, so I'm doing it right now. You have not only the option of the one that is flipped up face over here, but also the flipped up face option one, which is here. And in this case, they happen to be the same there. They happen to be different. And they happen to be the same here as well. So that means 5 of any resource gets you to build one of these guys, which we'll talk about in a second. This means if you activate this one and you have one of every different type of these gray stone buildings, then you get 10 victory points. And this gets you automatically 3 victory points, and it gets you a free build action of your choosing that you can actually do. And it ignores the stack requirement that it requires otherwise. The stack requirement also applies to, and I believe I may have misspoke earlier, these pyramids over here, because these are your temples, these are your buildings, and these are your pyramids. And so your pyramid, now I didn't put both these down so you could see, but underneath all 6 of these spots here that these are at are the symbol for 2 victory points. Because what's supposed to be here is you put down 2 per round, because especially in the higher player counts, you might have limited availability. And so I put down 1 in each spot, and that just reminds you, it's a simple, easy way to remind you that when you buy one of those, you automatically get 2 victory points. And when you buy them, it costs you 2 gold and a wood, and then they're always considered a 4 action requirement, just like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so if you are anything less than that, you are paying in additional gold. So that could cost you potentially 4 gold and a wood if you put down the very first token here. So that's how you get the resources. And then this is how you activate the tiles down here with this influence or this offering. And then this one down here, all you do, if you do the offering here, you just move your space marker forward and you take however many victory points, 2, 4, 6, or 8, that space gives you. And then you are allowed to take one of your tiles here that you have acquired, draw a new one, and replace one at the bottom of the stack. Couple last notes in terms of things you need to know for playing. you can see the mass tiles. There are 3 different sets of mass tiles around the perimeter of your board. If you are the first one, or when you fill up all of one type, as there are at least 2, if not 3 areas, depending on which one it is, of the same mask, you go over here and you grab the topmost mask for victory points at the end of the game. Your victory point tracker goes around the outside, around the outside, around the outside. Sorry, I couldn't resist myself. And then that's it. And like I said, these are placed out random at the beginning of the round. These are replenished at the beginning of the round, and these are in stacks numbered depending on how many players. So with 2 people that we're playing with, there is only 1 of each of these buildings in this game, and there are 2 of each of the temples. At any point, you can turn in 2 gold for any other resource, either a wood or a stone that you can utilize. And the nice thing about this is when you take your bonus actions, you can choose to do the bonus action before or after your main action. So that can be very influential as well. So now I will set up the board for the rest of the play, and then we will play around. Now, as we fast forward, I have placed all 3 of my tiles down on both boards, and I've done it differently so you can see a little bit different aspect, not only in terms of how it's going to play, but how the actions are going to take. And now I didn't talk about the scoring, but the endgame scoring here matters. And you'll notice that I actually put the orange, orange, green, green, blue, blue, because what happens here is that when you score by quadrants at the end of the game. So you score this quadrant, then this quadrant, then this quadrant. And if they overlap with quadrants, you get points depending on how many of these match. So if it's on the base pyramid level, you get 2 points for every one of these temples that is there. So if I have 3 oranges here and just 1 orange temple here, that would be 2 points for one, 2 points for another, 2 points for a third, that'd be 6 points. Now, if I had 2 of these in this area, then I would get 2 points for each one, and then I would get 2 more points for each one. So that'd be 12 points. Now, again, if I had a third stack here, we'll do this, they are worth, now if I can not screw this up completely, if you can build the Teotihuacan style temple there, this now gets you 3 points for every one of these in the same quadrant. And you'll notice that these ones especially cross over quadrants, so they're going to score in multiple quadrants. You do the same thing for the blues and the greens. So that's why I've matched up my blues and my greens there. And in the beginning of the game, you are allowed to cross quadrants. You are allowed to cover masks up with these as well. But like I said earlier, if this is not the beginning of the game, they do not, then they have to follow the reach of your meeple, your architect, if you will, and they cannot cover masks up. And so player 1 has chosen to do things slightly differently as well. They have chosen to do the opposite. They went for the resources, the buildings. And so they covered up all the yellow on this side and 3 of the 4 yellow up here. So they're clearly doing a different strategy. So when they begin their turn is going to be very obvious of what they're actually going to be doing, getting resources right away so they can be building. They have gone more here for the other aspect here. So it's usually a combination of both, but that is essentially what you're going to be doing and kind of seeing across the board. The other actions here, this gets you a free one of these that you want, 2 victory points and 1 of the solo ones. And then, yes, that's everything. So I covered most of it. I'm sure I've forgotten 1 or 2 things that'll be important, but we'll talk about it as I go if I think of it. So Orange's turn, they have the first player marker, and they are going to take one of their first action discs, and they are actually going to just go ahead and produce resources. And they're going to be able to use this action as well. So they're going to actually go big or go home. They're going to produce resources twice, because they're looking at it, they don't have any of these, and they don't really want the 2 victory points and the recycling of those, so they're just going to go ahead with that. Get a bunch of resources out here, and then you have to place them orthogonally. So this is where the tricky aspect of things, I couldn't put it here, I have to put it there. And so then I have to put it on the 2 sides, potentially, of those. Now you can cover up resources that are already there. So if for say I had a resource that was overlapping, like let's say I had put it here originally and I put one of the stones here, I could put a wood over that later. I would just lose the other resource. But I have chosen to do this to try and cover up the yellow. So I'm not worried about that right now. And so now I have done this. But now you can see I did it twice, so I have 2 down of every single resource. That turn is done. This stack is now 2 there. It's done. It does not apply any further. Now it's green's turn. Oh, but we have to move our architect. So our architect now is on this side. Reach is not affected when you're placing or utilizing resources. So you can take resources from any quadrant. You can place resources in any quadrant. It's only the building that is affected by the architect when you're doing that. So now if I'm looking at this, this guy, again, doesn't have any resources, so he needs to get some buildings. So he is going to actually probably actually play on the stack here as well. But now that's a stack of 3. And he's going, you know what? I want some of these, and I want these, and I'm going to need stone, and I'm going to need gold. So he's going to take the 3 gold. He has to place it some part on this side. He's also going to place it. He sees yellow is already covering up a fair bit of yellow. And you know what? Let's retcon this. And let's say he actually saw that yellow was going there, and so he said, you know what, I'm going to do this instead. Let's go for purple instead. I'll make it a little bit fairer there for them. And let's put yellow right here. And then he gets his free resource action of one of these 3. And he's going, okay, do I want a gold or do I want to get 2 victory points? You know what, let's get a gold. Let's produce a gold right there because I'm going to need it eventually. So we'll put that right there. Actually, let's put it right here for right now. So then he moves down to the bottom here, and then it is back over to orange. Now, orange is really looking at it, and, you know, orange is going, you know what? I like this. I'm just going to do this again. I'm going to get this thing. I'm going to get another resource of every single kind. I'm going to produce a gold and a stone and there. And I don't really need to do it again, though, there. So I'm going to move over here and get 2 victory points. And recycle, well, I don't have any, so it doesn't matter. So then my action's done. Go down here, and it goes now to green's turn. Green now is going, okay, well, this is not clearly starting out well for me. But now that stack has the potential to, again, help me for that. And now I can either get the 4 here, because that would be 4 total, or I could place it here and go with 3. You know, I think I'm going to take the other 3 here and get the stone, and now I have to place it down here, and now I can start worrying about this purple right there. So then that is all set. No bonus because nothing was taken there, and then it rinses and repeats and goes over to there. Back to orange's turn. Now orange has plenty of resources, so orange is already looking ahead at these 2. Now has gold, has plenty of that stuff, but doesn't have any of these yet to build and get bonus points from this. So they're really looking more here now. And so they say, okay, I don't have a lot of room right now over on this side and this side. Got a place down here. Well, what's going to be good down here? Blue is going to be good down here. So that's going to be 2 stone, but it's going to cost me more than just these 2 stone. If I do that, it's going to cost me also, and we'll take these 2 actually. We'll take the 2 stone, and since I'm going to put 1 disc right here. Now, if I put 2 discs, that would also be helpful, but then I'd be, you know, using one of my discs a little early. But right now it's 4 spaces, so it's going to cost me 2 of my 3 wood. And I want to save 2 of the 3. Well, you know what? 2. Let's do 2. And again, let's take these 2. So then I get to grab one of these blues. I will try and cover up as much as I can here and do that. And I also get to take this or this. Now, I have a 2 gray. I don't have any yellows that are matching that, so I'm going to take this gray one. I'll put this gray one over here. The top one gets flipped up. And there we go. Now, this guy goes around here at the end of the turn, and it goes to green again. Green now says, okay, I got some gold. I got a building. Is it worth going back and doing the resource again? Is it worth building something else? You know, I'm eyeing that yellow. You know what? Let's do the 3 here. And let's grab the other 3. Now, you could grab the 2s. You can always grab less. You can just not grab more in this. Same thing with this. You can always, if the stack is higher, you could always go for the lower one if the stack was 4 and you wanted to get the green one of 3. So now green has to play it over on this aspect. And again, you know, we know that yellow isn't great, but you know what? Let's go for this. Let's go for pink over here. This little pink mask guy. And then that's it. We rotate over here. Back to orange. Orange now still has plenty of resources. The problem is these stacks aren't very big over here yet. So they could place a couple stacks, but they only have 3 gold. So they could at most pay 1 extra gold here. They could get more resources there. You know what? They're going to get more resources. They're going to fill this last stack out and just say, haha, sorry, green. We're going to take that, and we're just going to produce 1 of every resources again and block you from doing that. So gold, stone, wood. And then goes up here. Now it's green's turn, and green is going, well, sugar nuts, because I only have 1 gold. I can't get more resources that way. And building is not going to be that easy. So what else can we do here? That kind of puts green in a tough position here because green can't do a whole lot because they don't have enough gold. They can't produce resources. Both the spots that build resources are full. They don't have any wood to be able to build this guy. And so they're going to have to actually put one of their stacks, you know, we're going to put their stack right here actually, because then they'll get the free build action and they're going to get the 2 victory points and they could recycle 1. So they're going to get 2 victory points and we'll grab, let's see, let's grab the stone or let's grab the wood instead. And let's put the wood right here. Let's fill this up. And then we'll move green to the side here. Now, orange is in a much better position. Orange is already going to go, okay, I would like to maybe fill this spot right here. And that would be very helpful. As much as I want one of these, I can't get one of the big gray ones right now. And I don't have a 3 either, so I already have the 2, so that's not going to be helpful this turn. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put maybe, let's see, now if we put actually we put 1 here, and that's a stack of 3, so it's only going to cost 1 extra gold. So it'd be 3 gold and 1 wood. So 1 wood, and 1, 2, we'll put 3 gold back. And now we can grab one of these tiles, automatically get the 2 victory points. Now the only problem with that strategy is my architect is up here. So am I better off waiting a turn until my architect is over on this side to fill it up? Because right now I could only place it in this one, or this one. So green, which actually I could put green over here. That wouldn't be, you know what, let's just do that. Let's just do that. We'll put it here. Although it's not going to get as many points. You know what? We'll take that back and we'll put it here instead. So we'll take those 2 victory points back. We'll put this pile back. And we'll go here instead because it's going to put our 3 gold and our wood back as well. And we'll buy this guy instead. Because now it's only going to cost 2 gold or 2 stone and a wood. And the benefit of doing that at this point is then we have this that can be placed. We're going to wait a turn to get this over here, no matter what, unless green plays all of their stack there, which probably wouldn't be that smart actually. And now we have to place it on this quadrant, but we could place it right here and hope we get a blue tile there as well. We cannot. Oh yes, we can actually. We can cover these up as long as it's not the free one. So we were going to, are we going for these or these? Looks like we're going for these. So we will also place it right there. Now that pile is out. Now I get my choice of this or this, and we'll grab this one again. Not super helpful right now, but if we get the recycle action later, that might be more helpful. So now you get victory points, 6 victory points, and then a victory points equal to the number of times that. And now we can go over to this side, and then it's green's turn. Green again doesn't have a whole lot of options. They don't have a whole lot of resources. They did not plan this out very well. So you know what? They will place another stack. They don't want to help right there. So they're going to put it here, get 2 victory points, then get 4 more victory points, and then their turn is done. Now orange is going to go ahead, place their last one here. Now it's a stack of 3. So again, it's going to be 3 gold and a wood. 1, 2, 3. And now they can grab this blue tile. Since it's on this side, they can place their blue tile here, which is going to work out very, very well. And you'll see why in a minute too. But now, since we also get a blue tile that's free there, that comes from, not up here, it comes from the reserve. And when you take a blue tile from the reserve, this blue tile cannot cover up any masks. So I could not use it to cover this mask. And again, it still has to be all within here. And so I am going to actually take it and, you know what, let's have it go right here. Actually, you know what, that's bad. That's bad. That's going to stop all my resource production. And this is where it gets a little tricky because it has to fit in this area. But you know what, actually, let's put it right here. Let's just put it right there. Let's do right there. That'll work. Because then I can put something larger right there to still fill that mask if I need to. So that'll be okay. That'll be okay. Then orange is done. Orange goes over here. Green takes their last turn. They're just going to put it right here. They're going to advance further, get 6 more victory points, brings them up to 14. And then They could recycle. They can't. That is the end of round 1. So at the end of round 1, you do not do final scoring. Final scoring is for these quadrants at the end. You then move this forward unless it's already on the eclipse. If it's on the eclipse, then the game is over. So with 4 people, you play 4 rounds. With 2 people, you play 4 rounds. With 3 people, you only play 3. So then this gets refilled to remind you. And then these stay here. Then you replenish this stack and this stack and this stack, and we play another round. Now, as we approach round 2, you can see I moved this meeple, the architect, so that he was all set. And then now each of the action little discs, now we're down by 1, so each only has 5. And then we'll see a new little icon here that got put out when I reset the bonus icons. And this one means not only do you get a victory point, you get to use this stack as if it were 1 more than what it actually is. So if there's only 1 token there, it would be 2. 2 is 3, 3 is 4, and etc. And so that's also nice as well. And now the first player marker is over on green. It's green's turn. Green is looking at things. And now what does green want to do? Now green again had a paucity, a very, very slim selection of resources last time. And they were not very happy with that. But they need to get more resources. But at the same time, they want to get another building. And so they're going to actually do the stone here because they could use some more stone. And they're doing quite well on this side of things. And they've got a yellow. May as well fill up some yellow here. Or, you know what? Actually, let's fill up purple. We're getting closer and closer to purple here. And so then we'll do that. And now they get the bonus. And you get to do 1 bonus for every building. And then that's going to be a gold here. We have an orthogonal there, an orthogonal there. And then an orthogonal there and right there. So that really helps. That green is already off to a much better start. And then move the architect, and now it's orange's turn. Now, orange did very well last round, so what do they want to do at the beginning of this round to start things off well? Again, they don't have very much resources either, and so building or might be a little bit out of the woodwork right now, and they want stacks. They want both of these guys as well that are big 4 numbers. And they could really use some stonework as well. So they're actually going to do this. They're going to go here. But are they going to get stone? Or are they... Yeah, they're going to get the stone because they want to work on that. And they're down here. And they're really going for yellow. So we'll try and cover up as much yellow as we can. Yeah, let's just do that. And so then orange moves. And now it's back to green. Green's going to take 1 of their discs. Now they can really do a build action. But do they want to, on this half, build a temple? Do they want to build a pyramid? I mean, they get a free gold if they could fill in there and another green. So that wouldn't be bad. But they don't have enough gold yet. Even if they put it here, it'd still cost them 3 gold. So that's not quite enough. Now they have 2 stone. But it would cost them 2 wood as well. It would cost them all 4 to get 1 of these blue temples, which doesn't really help them on this side of the board at all. They could go here and get the build action and go here, but they don't have it. This is the higher one. So you know what? I think they are just going to do, then the resource over here. And they don't need so much of this. They're going to go for the 2 victory points, which brings them up to 16. But instead, they're going to get the resources again. They're really going to build the resources this turn. And so that next turn, they are really going to be all prepared. Now, the problem with this is, oh, no, I put it there and then put it there because it's touching orthogonally. Because otherwise, I kind of backed myself into a corner with that. It doesn't give as many sides, but it'll still work itself out. And then green moves around to this edge. Now, orange, back to orange. Orange, again, doesn't have a whole lot of resource there. And they can see what green is doing. So is it worth getting in there now at the last spot? It probably is. Because they need 1 of those 4s. And they're going to go with this stone 4 here. And again, they're going for yellow. So this will almost fill up yellow completely for that mask. Now there's only 2 more individual yellow spots there. And that's going to be very helpful. And now when they get resources, they really have a ton of stone to work with to get the rest of the temples. So then their turn is all set. Going back to green here. Now green is really going to build. And the question is, do they build, big, or do they build over here with this? Now, again, we could fill in the blue right here. That'd probably be best if we're going to do that. Or we could build a blue temple and put it down into this area as well. That would probably be also just as helpful. Now, which is going to be better? wood and stone are almost completely full right now. So it's probably best to do this. And we'll get this guy. Again, seems to be the most popular today. And we'll build it for, it's only a stack of 2, so it's going to cost us 2 wood extra and 2 stone. We'll pull both those too. Because this guy still has plenty of slots over here. Now this has to be completely over here. It's not a freebie, so I can put it wherever I want. I'll put it right there. Although you can argue it might be worth putting it here. If I can get a blue pyramid tile here, then I could be scoring both quadrants later. But I'm more concerned because actually right now, this fills up the last one of this color mask. And so that's why I'm actually going to do it more than anything else. And it's still going to get me an extra 2 points at the end of the game just from that aspect. So that's fine. And then I get my choice of either this. Well, I don't have any of those. So we're going to have to go with this one where I get 6 victory points max, it says actually. And that's the victory points is equal to the number of brown tiles, squares, individual squares, times the green temples. So not very looking forward to that one. That one might be a recycle action at some point. Oh, and then if you have 4 of these, you get 6 victory points. Okay, that one's a little bit better. Green then moves down to the bottom here. Yeah, that's everything. And now it's Orange's turn. Orange, again, is looking at this. Now they've got, actually, now they've got one of these. So if they can get this, they can get both of those potentially very shortly because they actually have this one done completely. The problem is they need resources now. So they're going to go here and actually get resources. And so they're going to get another gold. They're going to get another wood, a stone, stone there, and stone there. Miss anything? Nope, that's everything. Okay. And then their action moves them over to here. Back to green. Green is going to go ahead again, and they can build again, actually. You know what? They can go here. This is going to be good. This is going to be very good for green, actually. And they can actually take this action, the bonus action, first, which means they can play a gold here. They can put down 2 wood there. And then stone and stone, which then allows them to build, and they can build. And again, this blue is going to be helpful there. Or do you do orange? Because orange is also there. I can't get too many orange, though. Now, it's going to get me a free stone building as well that I can put down. Although I guess I could put here or here as well. So, which one do we want to do? It's going to cost us 2 gold. Our 2 gold. And our wood. Plus 2 more gold. It's going to cost us all of our gold. That's okay. That's why we did the bonus action first. We're going to take our 2 victory points because that's for sure. And then, you know what? Let's go with blue. Let's put a blue here. We'll get the freebie of the stone. And again, the freebie of the stone, we'll put it down here. And then that's it. We got to move our guy around. And now it is back to orange. And orange has enough. Now, orange really, actually, you know what? Orange is actually going to go here again. Because they want to get these victory points. Because these are heavy-duty victory points here. And so that's going to put this on this side. Oh, actually, you know what? We forgot to get the mask. We forgot to get the mask for green. So green's mask here is going to be worth 7 victory points. We'll put it right over here next to their workers and their action. So you can just kind of see it at the edge of the camera here. And then now orange has gotten this with the 4th stack. And they have to build on this side. And so we will try and maybe cover up this guy just for the sake of doing it. Actually, you know what? We'll cover up this way. And then that is it for orange. Orange moves around. And then it goes back to green for green's last action. And now green doesn't have a whole lot of things they can do. They can't build over here. They cannot go over here. Both these stacks are already 4. And so then they can go here, and this would be a stack of 3, or here would be a stack of 3. Well, this also gets a victory point, so that's a no-brainer. So that gets to 19. And then greens can build 3 or 4. Green would cost them 1 stone and 2 wood. The blue would cost them 2 stone and 2 wood. Well, as much as I like the idea of blue, green works much better right here, right now. So don't have to pay anything extra because this is the bonus as it gets 1 extra higher. So we will take one of these away. and then one of these away. And then we build it on this half, which again works out well because all of a sudden we're here. And all of a sudden we're doing really well yellow-wise. We might as well cover up yellow here. Put it right there. Now I get one of these, and these are both the same, so it doesn't really matter. So this is pay 5 of any resource and get to build one of these guys. Now with both of these, they're the same, and it's 5 of any resource to build any one of these. From the reserve, not from here. I believe you still get the 2 victory points, though. I'll have to check that in the comment section. But then we flip these over, and now 10 resources gets you 12 victory points. So if you're just stacking up resources for some reason, you can do that. And that's the end of green's turn this round. And then we're now going back to orange. And now orange has to decide what they're going to do. Are they going to go here and build, or are they going to go in and cash in their top one here for 8 victory points? And we'll kind of wait and see here. I was a little bit very prematurely eager to get those 8 points. But looking at it is, you know, what can I actually build there? I can build, you know, that'll be 3. I can build the green one for free. So that probably wouldn't be a bad thing, although my green is all the way on the other side. My blue is on this side. Blue would be 2 stone. I do have 2 stone. I have 3 stone right now. It would cost me 2 stone and a wood. So yeah, let's do that actually. You know what? Let's do that. Let's save that in. Let's cash that in later. Let's put that. We'll pay 2 stone, 1 stone, 2 stone. It's going to cost us 1 wood extra because it's a 3 stack for a 4 piece. So then we pay that. Grab the last blue one and cover up here. And you know, we're getting close to this, so it might be worth doing one of these, crossing borders, because then now blue is going to score in both quadrants with this pyramid and with this temple. So then it goes over here. I get one of these with the blue. You know what? If I can get another one of these, great. Flip that over. Flip that one. And this one is a max of 9, where that times that. Okay. And then that is the end of round 2. So hopefully that makes sense. I'll stop the gameplay right here since we've gone through 2 complete rounds at a 2-player mark. You know, like I said, the scoring, the interesting part is because if I was to get one of these up here again, this would score in both in this quadrant, 3 points for each one in this quadrant. So that'd be 3 points for this one. And this would be 3 points for each one in this quadrant, which would be 9 points right there because there's 3 different ones there. And then this would also be 2 points there for each one of these. So that would be another 6 and another 6. So if I had a third one up here, this quadrant alone right now, if it was scoring that way as an example scoring, it would get 9 points plus 6 points plus 6 points, which is 21 points just from this quadrant, just with this. And then I would go to this quadrant and then I would get an additional, because this one doesn't cross, but this one does, an additional 2 more points just right there. Now this wouldn't score anything because there's no blue up there, but I could get a blue here. If I got another blue here, those are the things that you can see rolling and happening. Cashing in these, you can start to see how things are going. And that is an example in a nutshell of what this game looks like. Now, let's go to my final thoughts. So, now that you have seen some gameplay, let's give you some of my thoughts on it after having played it now. It has a solo mode. It has a whole completely dedicated solo mode. So I'll throw that out there for you guys. And if you are a solo player, you're going to like this if you liked playing the original game as a solo version as well. There are meaningful, thoughtful, provoking decisions in this game. This is not nearly as easy as I was expecting it to be tile laying choice-wise. And it's a little bit heavier from a tile laying game overall. So if other tile laying games, you're like, the choices are too easy, or, you know, it's too simplistic, or there's not enough strategy in terms of building it up over several turns, this is going to have more for you, and it's going to appeal to you more right away from that aspect. No doubts about it. I mean, it's borderline a little bit almost too heavy for me. And I say that as a positive because I know a lot of people are looking for something a little bit more from that aspect. The resource management is clever. At first, I thought it was just kind of silly. But as you're laying those tiles down and trying to cover up areas and having the tiles close in around each other, the same things that are giving you benefit of closing them in are also limiting the access, limiting the flow of available spots for those resources to be put in the first place. Which again, sort of makes the positioning very, very important. The other nice thing about this is, like a lot of these tile laying games, this reminds me similarly, and just in this aspect, of Cosmic Colonies. Because you have the one side of the board that I played on that is symmetric between all 4 players. You have the other side of the board, which is asymmetric. And so it already has that added degree of difficulty, added degree of, well, I'm just going to do this because I have found that this works. Nope. All of a sudden, flip the board over, go to B side, and see how good you really are. So that's good. The iconography is, I mean, it's like Teotihuacan in terms of the iconography. It's going to take you a playthrough to figure out the iconography, to figure out the wording from the differences of, okay, which one is the pyramid, which one is the temple, and which one is the building. Like, I was flipping back and forth in the rulebook the first playthrough going, okay, which one is the one? Because this one has this action, but this one can only be played on these areas when I build this. And again, there's a little bit of that. Because it is, again, like I said, on the heavier side. But it's not overwhelming. No. I wasn't struggling to get the flow of the game. No, the flow of the game is very intuitive once you get into it. It's just figuring out which iconography is which and then matching them up. Really, even more so than I feel like the asymmetric boards, what really is going to appeal to people and what you're going to like and what's going to make each round, not even just each game, different, is those power-up spots. Those individual tiles that you're placing your action pieces on to build them up. Because the fact that those change each round and they are not even used all in a round, which is smart thinking ahead. Because don't you hate it when there are 6 spots and there are 6 tokens and you use all 6 tokens every single time? It gives variability and it gives, again, meaningful decision making when you're placing it, not only to potentially get the bonus you want, but in the location as well as the stack height. To manipulate all 3 of those at the same time in potentially one placement is a little bit ingenious. I really liked that aspect. It is frustratingly a good mechanic. Because there are times where I wanted to do a certain action and I could not because it was going to cost me an extra resource, or 2 because the stack was only so yay high, but I also wanted that bonus action because it would have been a great combination and you just can't pull it off. But when you can pull it off, it's great. It's fantastic. Because for you Euro lovers out there that are going, okay, whatever, Chris, whatever, this is a game, just like Teotihuacan in its predecessor's name, that you are not going to be able to do anywhere near all of the stuff that you want. So if you try to do all of it, you are going to not do well. You are going to have to pivot and strategize and be very tactical at the same time. Depending on what is out in front of you, depending on which of those bonus cards get flipped up, and depending on how your board sort of shakes out, because the other ingenious aspect of things, and it's going to frustrate people again, I remember several times that if my worker would have been on a different side of my board, it would have given me a completely different result. Oh, I could have filled in those last couple mask spots and gotten the mask bonus tile for the bonus victory points at the end of the game. Nope, I was on the other side, so I couldn't. Oh, I put down, especially in my first couple games, the tendency to, I want to do this bigger action right away. Well, that very much limits some of the other actions you're going to be able to do in that round. So instead of rushing through things, this is a very paced game. As much as it may feel like I want to put as many of these down as I can. No, you really don't. There's a time and a place, but it definitely ain't all the time. So there's a lot of thought that has to go into each of the placement of the tiles, not only where, the bonus, but also the height again, like I mentioned. All in all, this is a solid game. I wasn't sure what to expect when I went into this, but having played it now, it's definitely something tile laying, mechanically speaking, doing some very, very cool things, and I think people are very much going to like those aspects. And it's heavier. Again, to go back to my point earlier, which is a criticism of, I think, a lot of people who don't like tile laying games in the first place. There aren't enough meaningful decisions. Well, cross that one off as an excuse why you don't play tile laying games anymore, because this one has it in spades. And it does it in a very short time frame. I mean, you can easily play this because of how quick the turns are. 2 players easily under an hour. And once you play, probably once, you could do 3 or 4 in under an hour too. I don't think I'd have any qualms in saying that. And, you know, that's with 60-minute playtime listed on the box itself. I would say that's probably true even with 4 players once you've played it once or twice. It's that quick. Now, would I play it with 4 people all the time? Probably not. I think the sweeter spot is probably with 2 or 3. But I think with 3 or 4, you're going to be able to do bigger actions that were costing a lot more resources and were more limiting than the 2-player count that I have played it at so far. So I think you're going to see the ability to do better things and higher scoring things in the 3 and 4 players just by the sheer nature of building those stacks higher every single time you go around. Now, there's obviously going to be a little less option in terms of what's available because stuff doesn't get restocked until the end of the round. But that's a trade-off I would be easily willing to make, because in the 2-player so far, I did not feel like I was ever truly could not do anything of that size that I wanted to do. So especially at the 3 or 4, there are going to be more meaningful decisions if that is also what I just said that you really are looking for. So there you go. That is Founders of Teotihuacan from Board and Dice. Let me know if you're interested. Let me know what you think. And as always, thanks for watching in the first place. Like, comment, subscribe, algorithm, insert here, you know, whatever. I also have a Patreon. Whatever. Thank you for watching, though. I really do appreciate it. Yeah. Have a great day. Stay classy. I'll see you around.